All right, we are back with our final full segment, the hour rolling by, because you know me, I'm inquisitive and I'm peppering our guest with questions. She's been so gracious to join us tonight for an hour, and that is Limor Weinstein, Executive Director of Bespoke Wellness Partners. Thanks again, by the way, for sharing your expertise with us and our audience tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And all right, so let's get back to what we were talking about, and I wanted to ask you about where schools and teachers can play a role in all of this. And obviously, every school system, private, public, everyone's different. They have different curricula, and some are farther along with this kind of topic, and others are not. But if you've got a bullying situation, obviously the teachers in schools, parents have to be involved, or guardians, but the teachers in schools are a key component, because a lot of this can happen in school.
Yes, and teachers and the schools play a huge role, and sometimes the teachers themselves are involved in the bullying and, without even knowing. So I think, it's very, very important, that if something happens in the classroom, the teachers are involved, and sometimes the teachers will be making comments that are maybe sexist or making the student feel uncomfortable. So I think it's very important that the schools talk about this topic, and in every classroom, and a lot of the schools actually do. They have the anti-bullying campaigns. They talk about it. Some schools involve the parents, and I think the more the schools talk about it and the more they're involved, the less bullying the school has. I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah, it definitely helps. And obviously teaching the peers and the teachers about, like we talked, being this positive bystander, just kind of looking out for everyone. Why do you think, though, if we go back to the core here, especially I know we don't have enough time for all of it, but it always fascinates me, on the other side, why do people bully? Now that I'm older, I always tell myself when I see something like this or hear about it, I just think that person's got to be, I almost feel empathy, because obviously to me, they're hurting themselves, or they're trying to displace something, aggression maybe that they've received. But why do these kids bully in the first place?
Mm-hmm. Right. So some of these kids experience bullying in their home environment, right? And a lot of these kids are insecure, and you were kind of mentioning they project a lot of their insecurities, a lot of the anxieties, a lot of the negative things out, to the environment, to other people. And it's very unfortunate, but you're right. I mean, these people, it's important to be compassionate and understanding towards these people, but they also need to know to have consequences to their actions, right, because they're very hurtful.
Yeah, and sometimes some of these kids who are responsible for this can be remarkably manipulative. I have seen cases where the person responsible for the bullying, the parents just can't believe that their child would do this, and initially they will deny and defend until perhaps real evidence or something really comes to light, and there's kind of shock and surprise that they had no idea that this was happening.
Yeah, and that is a big problem if the child is very manipulative and he knows how to talk his way out of whatever he was doing, especially with a parent, then he can get away with a lot of things, which is why it is very crucial that the school, the teachers, people, wherever the bullying happened, actually getting involved and bringing the parents in, and making sure that there are consequences so that the bullying will actually stop.
Right, and through this 12 weeks, obviously it's kind of you take I think it's a multinodal approach. I'm not sure of the word, but like you said, there's a lot of tentacles here.
A very holistic approach, yeah.
Yeah. You have a lot of different people in your group, and you really have to get other people involved as this process goes on, and you're working. So you're really maybe working with one person, but the world around that person, especially a young person, everyone has to be kind of on board.
Right. Yeah. So, basically we, some of the therapists like work with the teenager, and then somebody else would work with the parents and kind of help them, be more supportive of the teen, and, making them feel like less anxious, and, especially while they're home. So it's, but I feel like for the teen to have like a safe space to talk to somebody who is a professional, who can actually listen to them and can help guide them in the right direction. I mean, that's really crucial for somebody who's experiencing bullying or any mental illness.
How do you then deal, doctor, with, and we were talking before, I said doctor, you're very close to officially being doctor. I'm going to call you doctor anyway because I think you've earned it. But anyway, about follow-up. Does it depend on your evaluation and your team's evaluation of a specific case? Is there a continued, maybe the child or the patient wants to, really enjoys, has gotten used to the conversation and maybe wants to come back once a month or once every few months? How does that work?
Yeah, no, I think it's very important to to not just be in therapy for, let's say, 3 months or 6 months or whatever the length is to also have check-in with them, So for example, I'm working with, a 16-year-old who was bullying on social media for several months. And even though she's feeling better and she's not as restrictive and she's functioning better, I mean, we still check in like once a month to make sure that she's practicing the skills and she's feeling better and she's maintaining all the hard work that she had done.
That's excellent. That's excellent. It's got to be really rewarding for you and your entire team, especially when you watch kind of this positive growth and the impact that you can have.
Yeah, it's like the most incredible experience to see, somebody who is starting in one place and then later on, he's feeling so much more empowered and so much better. And, then we also get them to kind of pay it forward by, now that they know the skills, they help mentor, another teen. And we have a whole mentoring program where the kids actually learn the 12-week program, and then they become certified mentors from our company. So it's kind of an exciting thing, and it gives them good incentives to, not just help themselves, right? But then at the end, if they choose, they can take the 12-week program and become mentors and help other teenagers and become kind of ambassadors.
I love that idea. That really kind of empowers them too, right? I mean, that's great.
Yeah. Yes, it's they know that once they learn how to feel better and how to use different skills that help them, get out of a very difficult situation, knowing that they can help somebody else is an amazing motivation, to kind of not just help themselves, but also give it back to the community, which is incredible.
That is awesome. I know I have some stuff printed out here from stopbullying.gov, which I understand is a pretty good resource. Got a couple of other websites here, Breaking the Silence. Give me some other, are there some easy sources? And also, I want to know how can people maybe find you and your business online?
Right. So if they go to BespokeWellnessPartners.com, they can read about the Karma coaching method, and within the method, I include a lot of different skills and tools. And in terms of resources, I mean, if they just look at the skills and they Google them, they can find a lot of related information. Yeah. Lots of
good information. And finally, before we go to this next break, how long? If someone calls up, wants to make an appointment, is there a backlog right now? Do you ever just refer someone somewhere else, or how does that whole a questionnaire?
Yeah, so we have 15 clinicians on staff. So you basically go, you fill out a form online and you talk to an intake coordinator, and then if we cannot accommodate the clients, then we will help them find somebody else. But we will, within all our clinicians, we will, even if they have to wait a couple of weeks, or depending on who they want to see, we will help direct it. You know,
Right.
we'll help connect them with the right person.
Awesome. And you, right now, your clients primarily throughout the tri-state area?
Yeah,
Okay.
now because of COVID, we have, like, you know, especially with college students, they're all over
All over the
world.
country, I would imagine. Yeah.
All
Have to-
over the country and the world.
Have to wrap right there. Thank you so much for being our guest. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we hope to talk
Thank you
with you
so
again
much for
soon.
having me.
Thank you so much, Limor. We'll
Thank
be
you
right
so
back.
much.